You ever notice you go to get an old car out to go for a nice sunny day ride, and well, this happens. Yeah, me neither. So come along, let's fix this today. Hey, hello, welcome back to Klep's Garage. I'm your host, Bruce, and today we're working on my 1910 Ford Model T Roadster with a child seat on the back, affectionately known as the mother-in-law seat. So when you're out on a date, the mother-in-law goes with you and says, "You're too close." Ha ha ha. Well, let's take a look at this thing today, but first, I gotta fix that tire. Oh, and one more thing before we get started. So every time I upload a video, YouTube comes up with some new thing that I should do or try to get subscribers like you involved in the video and somehow makes me money, which, whatever. Anyhow, another new thing is now is to take quizzes, that I should probably do a quiz about my video and you guys can answer like what kind of car this is. So like, anyhow, I'm not going to do that, but I will do a question, and at the end of this video, I'll tell you the answer. So here's my quiz. You guys can leave a comment what the answer is, but I'm not going to run it through YouTube, and they don't need to make any money off you guys for quizzes. So anyhow, here's my question. This could be non-automotive relevant. In fact, yeah. What was B.B. King's name of his guitar? Yeah, that's a good question. Okay, put that down in the comments. I'll tell you at the end. So you have to watch to the end. We'll see. I know what you're thinking. It's only flat on the one side. Trouble is, it's flat up here too. So the first thing you need to do is find yourself a tube, and I just happen to have one laying around. I've already put air in it to make sure that it's going to hold air, because I'd hate to put a bad tube in a flat tire. That would just be wrong. So we'll put this up here with the mother-in-law. Now, what to do? Well, most people would jack this up and probably use tire irons and stuff, and I'm not going to jack it up. I showed you on an episode earlier. I'll put it down here somewhere. Anyhow, how to roll a tire off. Unfortunately, that was on my 1901 Olds, and that tire's like 80 years old, and it didn't want to roll off like it should. These tires are, let's see here, 10 times 3 divided by 12 times pi. At least 10 years old. So we'll attempt to take this one off with ordinary hand tools that they would have carried on the car back in the day. Won't this be fun? Okay, where to start? This looks like a good place to start. Might want to move this forward a hair a bit more. There we go. I kind of forget how I did this before. About like that, I think. Now, I don't have to be real careful because, you know, the tube's no good. Putting it back on, you got to be a little bit more careful. Let's see here. Once you get this thing started, it should go. Not going to cooperate. Where was I? Oh yeah, I was trying to pull this off by hand. Now, I'll see if there's an inner tube in here. The easy way would be to cut that stem off, but we'll try something else. This would have been a hell of a lot easier if that valve stem was straight. I think maybe if I get this in here and pull. There. Yeah. Now let's fill it up with air and see where the hole's at, so I can tell if it's got a flap, so I don't think the spokes are poking through, but you never know. Let's find it out. Okay, let's look for the hole. Probably won't be a hole. Probably just went flat. But I heard the air coming out as fast as I was putting it in, so should be a hole somewhere. It's right there at the valve stem. Maybe this tee's just got too much dang speed, and it just snapped the valve stem off. Let's see here. Can you see this? It's on the valve stem itself. I know that valve stem wasn't crooked when I started this project. Yeah, there it is. Anyhow, it's probably what happens when you have underinflated tires. These tires are usually anywhere from 40 to 60 psi, and maybe that one got low and got a rim cut. So now I'm going to check the hole where the valve stem goes. Alright, for this job I did jack the wheel up because I want to go around and make sure there's nothing inside the rim. There's the flap. I don't feel anything sharp. I'm just going to say the tire was low last time it got run, and it worked that valve stem, but I don't see anything here. So we will attempt to put the tube back in there. Now on this particular job, I'm going to leave it jacked up to put the tube back in. If you're on the road, you can still do this with the jack, but then I'm going to put it back down on the ground and show you how to put the tire back on without the jack. Try to make this a little bit easier. I'm going to try snaking this valve stem holder tool on up through there first, because the flap is kind of, well, flapping around, and it's making me upset. But it shouldn't be that difficult. I just come up with a name for this video. It's called How Not to Change a Tire. there is easier ways of doing this. I don't even know why I'm doing it this way. I can't. Oh, there it is. That flap keeps moving. Keeps moving on me. See if I can poke my finger. Yeah, well, we're going to need another tool. I can see that right now. Okay, the gloves are off. Time to get serious. I have my valve stem hole finding tool. It's right there. Let's just see if I can get this stuff in there. Looks like it ought to be easy. I've done this before. Really, I have. You wouldn't believe that by watching this, but I have done this before. You know, there should be an easier way, and there is. I'm taking the tire off so I can get it all mounted all at once, because this is like ridiculous. I need to put this back down. It's going to be a... Okay, after months of negotiation, I decided that this tire is not cooperating, so it's just going to have to come off. So, that's what we're going to do. Come on, tire. Come on, tire. Shoot. This is where I need to roll it again, and camera's in the way, and jack's in the way. There we go. Whoopsie. Okay. These are jacked us up, but I don't feel like it. There. Stupid thing. Could it be that easy? Yes. It's just that easy. Hey, look, there's actually a rim flap on it. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, that is a rim flap. It's supposed to keep these spokes right here from pinching the tube. Yeah, we're going to check this. Alright, so checking the spacing on this. So far I can see all the spokes. Oh, now it's clear over here to the side. And there's the valve stem hole. Yeah, you know, this thing isn't really doing anything. So, we're going to do it the handyman's secret weapon and use packing tape. Okay, I have checked the rim for any sharp edges, anything that's out of the ordinary. Haven't found anything. So, without further ado, guess what we're going to do? You guessed it. Whoever tears this apart will be custody, but I don't care. But it's my car. Whoopee. Well, I was supposed to cut that off there. I'll be back. Check a coat on now, Mr. McFly. Honest. I haven't cut my finger on the hole where the valve stem goes, so that tells me that it's okie dokie. What did I do with that stupid... Oh, there it is. I'll put this back on just because, I don't want to fill up our landfills with unnecessary garbage. So we'll just leave the garbage on the car. About like that. What do you think? This is about stupid. I mean, I've seen stupid in my day, but this here takes the cake. It ain't going to stay where I put it. As soon as I put the tire on there, it's going to move all over the place. Okay. So, there. Now, that's out of the way. Don't you hate it when every time you use one of these things, it rolls itself back up on itself and you can't find the end? So I usually... There. Okay. I shall put the under tube in the tire. I know what you're thinking. Wouldn't this be easier to take it to a tire shop? Good luck finding somebody that's going to work on one of these. So at this point, I always check the inside of the tire, see if I can cut my finger on anything sharp that shouldn't be in there. I don't see anything in there. Okay. Well, now where do I want to put the valve stem at? I shall look at the rest of the car. Usually I like to put it in the middle of the writing. But let's see what's on the rest of the car. I didn't put these tires on, so we'll see what somebody else did. Okay, this one is in the middle of nowhere. And let's see. This one's on the R of Ward's Riverside. Okay, yeah. And this one's in the middle of nowhere. Well, since I'm doing this, we're going to put it in the middle of Ward's Riverside, which is somewhere about, yeah, the R looks good. Then I'll have two tires that match. Okay. And when I change the rest of these tubes because they go bad, I guess I'll line them up. Is it 5 o'clock yet? It's got to be 5 o'clock somewhere. This is almost like work. I knew it was going to be one of those days. As soon as I just decided to pull this thing out, I said, Self, it's going to be one of them days. You ought to just go back to bed. No! What do I want to do that for? I want to get this out. It's you going to go for a ride. Yeah, that's what I want to do. Well, yeah. See, if we was out on the road, wouldn't this be fun? That's why Ford went to demountable rims, so you could just take the whole rim off, tire and all, and change it like in, 5 minutes. I would do a video on that, but that's like completely boring because, well, there's not much to it. You jack the car up, you take 4 lug nuts off, and boom, the wheel's off. You put another one on. How much fun is that? Of course, if you want to change the inner tube, you're going to have to do what I'm doing here, eventually, somewhere. Yeah, there you go. Now, since this had a flap, this is the flap. It's supposed to protect the inner tube from the rim. However, it did not protect the inner tube from the valve stem from getting cut. I'm going to modify this. I'm going to make that hole a bit bigger. I don't like it. I know what you're thinking. Oh, this don't look good. You're right. It don't. But you know what? It works. About like that. Probably should have put my safety glasses on. Too late. Okay. I like this more better. This is when it's nice to have a helper to help hold this stuff together. I'm going to change hats because this hat's going to be completely black. Okay, this hat don't show the dirt quite so bad. That's why I'm always wearing black t-shirts when I'm working on stuff. You can't tell if I'm dirty or not. Now the important thing is that this goes between the tire and the inner tube. Well, we'll speed this up because, this is like boring. I did manage to get the flap in there, so it suited me. I had to inflate the tire with a blowgun without the valve stem in it, so I could kind of get it all situated where it needs to go. Put it back on the rim. Now I have it on the valve stem area. Like thus. Now we will attempt to put this back on. So for the tricky part, oh, didn't have it jacked up enough. So I want the valve stem on the bottom, is what I'm trying to do. Okay, well, after multiple attempts of trying to get that flap back in the tire, and I decided it was time to go to lunch and take a break. So I went to lunch and I thought about it and contemplated the variables and, thought about it some more. And come back from lunch and realized that, my trick of rolling the tire on and off, that only works if you're working on one bead. You just pull the tube out, put tube back in, roll back on. Works fine. However, I took the whole tire off because I didn't trust the spoke liner. And there's really only one way to put the tire back on when you're putting the whole tire on. Take the wheel off, lay it down, and work it back on. And I probably would have shared that with you, but I accidentally on purpose forgot to push record on the camera. So, here it's back on. And maybe one day I'll show you how I do these, the whole tire. Because this one I did a little bit different. But anyhow, the dang thing's back on. Maybe I can go for a ride now. So I'm going to put this back on. So these are what's known as Dayton wire wheels. They're a center knockoff hub. And they have 5 studs that keep them from turning. And this was an aftermarket wheel that you could buy to put on your Model T. It just has a hub that bolts on where your original T hub was at. And then all you do is put this thing on there and line up the holes. Let's see if I can do this without screwing it up. Oh, I did manage to get the valve stem lined up on the R like I said I was going to. I don't know how I did that, but see, this looks easy on paper. There it goes. So you put that on there like this, and then it's got a locking hubcap. That sure don't look to me like that's going to lock. Anyhow, I might have to check this first. It's got a locking hubcap, and it just screws on and uses this wrench, and then you hit it with a dead blow hammer to get it good and tight. So I'm going to check this out. It doesn't suit me. All right, this is more better. This little I think you can see that. There's a little arm in there that's got a spring on it, and it's got a little knob here, and that knob's what locks into this hub to keep this from coming out. And the way this detents is when you put this wrench on here, it forces that down. So anyhow, the other one needed a little bit of oil, and or this one I should say. So I'm going to try to get this back on there. Let's see if this will work. Good thing we're not at the Indy 500. I've already lost way too much time. So there is a right and a left of these. This one here says left side, it's right-hand thread. The passenger side says right side, and it's left-hand thread. So there is a left and a right to these. There. Now maybe I can go for a ride. Won't that be fun? We'll go for a ride. I'll come back. I'll tell you a little bit about the car because I'm like tired. we'll take a look at the mother-in-law seat Roadster from Ford for 1910. Built the Roadster from, well, 9 to all the way up to 27. However, the early brass cars, they come out with this unique runabout Roadster, which could be converted. What do I mean by that? So you could buy the Roadster as just a 2-seat open runabout. And then back here, I don't know, you could get it with like a turtle deck, which is what the newer T's have on it. Or you could take that off and put a wooden bed back there. Or you could take this and order this from the factory, which was known as the, well, I don't know what the heck they called this thing. I call it kid seat Roadster. But it was, the people called it the mother-in-law seat, because the mother-in-law would sit back there when you went on a date so you didn't sit too close together. And it's just an oddball, odd-looking car. Now, they did make a, what did they call that thing, a tourabout, where they took basically this front seat and put another one back there and put a touring top on it and had an open touring car. And I'll link down the bottom. There was a video done on a guy that has a car like that. But anyhow, this one is the mother-in-law seat Roadster. So anyhow, this particular car's got the Dayton wire wheels on it, not period. Well, did not come with the car, but is period correct for the time period. You could get these and put them on there. And of course the brass radiator and the acetylene headlights. However, these aren't hooked up to acetylene. They might have LED lights in them. Shh, don't tell anybody. If nothing else, they look neat. And they do put out enough light to see by. And they're just held in there by one little bolt, so they come back out and you can put them back to period correct. Anyhow, there you go. This particular model has Temco shock absorbers, which is really just a spring inside of a cylinder, and supposed to give you more bounce per mile, I think. But they had all kinds of aftermarket things. This is just one of them. This car's got 4 of these on each corner. And yeah, just I don't know if it helps the ride or not, but they're on there. Let's see, what else I want to talk about. Just standard stuff. This still had the ribs on the pedals before they went to smooth. They actually put clutch, reverse, and brake on there. It actually stamped them in there back in the day, so you knew what pedal was which. Then they just done away with it for some dumb reason. Coil box, speedometer, ethanol adjusting knob, choke, clock, windshield, you know, your standard stuff. Okay, so I said it was a 10. It's really titled as 11. Who knows? I don't know. It's probably late 10, early 11. And yeah, these aren't really stock, but that's also a brake light. And I do drive these, and I don't like people running into me. So there you go. Take a look at those shocks on the back. There's the rear ones. All in all, a neat car. Just a real nice car. Well, that's going to do it on this episode of Club's Garage on how not to change a tire. Don't do what I do. Do it your way. Well, at least you got to see the T and running, and yeah, maybe we'll do some more on this one. Leave a comment, tell me what you want to see on this car, what you want to know about it. Anyhow, oh yeah, and to answer that stupid trivia question, of course, B.B. King's guitar was Lucille. So, there you go. Anyhow, hey, we'll see you next time. Drive them if you got them.